Hello, beautiful people. Today we're going to be reading Reddit stories because I'm in the mood for it. And shout out to Doobie Doobie on Reddit for this amazing story we're going to be reading. Okay. I live in the heart of Appalachia, and this is easily the most terrifying story of one of my experience. There's more. This story may be short, may be drawn out. I'm recounting these days as I type, and it's honestly one of the most horrifying things I have ever experienced, and brings me genuine stress to think about it. This happened maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I live in southern West Virginia and have for my entire life. The woods and mountains surround every direction you look at night, and at nighttime it is a darkness that you can never dream of unless experienced. That's probably the scariest thing I've ever heard. Imagine living in a house and you look out your window and there's just woods with darkness surrounding you. Now that is scary. I was with a friend, I'll call him Mark. Mark was at my house one evening doing the usual things, watching UFC, playing Xbox, etc. It was extremely late when we finally got bored and decided to go for a walk on a nearby trail to smoke a joint. This is not a particularly long trail, but it's very dense in the woods that surround it, and it's easy to get freaked out when thinking of your surroundings. We finally get to about halfway into the trail, about 30 minutes in when we stop, pack a joint, and stand on the trail to chill and talk. The forest is very alive tonight. There was always noises in the woods, but the amount of animal activity for the time was unsettling. At this point, it was probably past 1 a.m. This was strange and kind of eerie, and not alerting as any sort of predatory animal in the area may cause a disturbance. We finished smoking and continued our walk when almost immediately the forest falls dead quiet. As soon as I said dead and hit the thing because it's in bold, so as soon as the forest goes quiet, there is a voice. Almost sounds like a mocking humanoid voice, shaky. Shaky and uncertain, almost like a old children's toy, like the ones with the crackly speakers and robotic voice, if you know what I mean. This immediately sets us off. We walk directly down the opposite length of the trail, but the sound does not gain distance. It doesn't get closer per se, but no matter how far we ran down the trail, this eerie voice remains the same volume, going over and over with no quieting or stopping. At this point, I am convinced that we are in genuine danger, something I have felt very few times. Finally, after sprinting for who knows how long, we exit the trail, gasping for breath, and almost at the verge of tears of how frightening this was. We begin to exit the trail. And about 5 minutes from the exit, there's this bone-shaking, heart-stopping, murderous scream from directly behind us. I know what a mountain lion sounds like. This is not an animal. This was not someone playing or watching a movie. This scream sent birds flying from nest and made my heart drop into my stomach. I didn't read the last part. It was the most genuinely depraved and violent scream I have ever heard. This is a true story that I only told 3 people, all of whom seemed to brush off as false. I've never been a person to push for the existence of the paranormal or spiritual, but I genuinely believe I encountered something inhuman in those woods. I think you did too, Twin. I believe you. Edit. I know I will receive questions such as what the voice was possibly saying, or to explain the area and what happened after. I genuinely cannot remember what the voice was saying, if anything intelligible. I don't know if it could understand it then, and I certainly can't recall understanding it after several years of blocking it out of my memory. All that I recall, I just got goosebumps, is that it was a fluctuating voice and pitch shaking, almost just joining sounds together. After running from the scream at the end of the trail, we ran to the car, which was only about 5 or 6 minutes from the trail, so we could get to the relatively fast from sprinting. This was a good story. That is a really good story. Let's read the comments. There's another story. We're going to read it. Okay, this is a comment, by the way. Oh wow, I feel this in my bones. My uncle's mom's brother and parentheses had a farm in southeast West Virginia since the 70s. Long before I came into this world, Mom is the oldest of 5, and my uncle built a bunch of houses on the farm so family could use it whenever. Some lived there, and others, like my family, visited often. My mother and older sister and I would go for weeks on end to spend time with family, and I always loved it because I have a ton of cousins and was the baby for a long time, so mostly I tagged along with my cousins, and I felt extremely safe. Like it was happy. It was like my happy place. I don't really remember anything totally out of the ordinary when I was really little. I can't speak. Other than I remember an imaginary friend whom I exclusively played with at the farm. No, me too, twin. I had an imaginary friend too. See? Okay. Nowhere else, and we moved extensively from Dad's job, so I've lived in many different places. What I remember after age 5 was suddenly being old enough to not have to have someone walk with me to and from other houses. I said that right. Which I thought was so cool. So I would explore more. My uncles liked to bow, hunt, and had taken me a few times, not too far into the woods, but enough so I can see the deer. And also to be able to go back by myself on my own and find their little tree platforms they had built to hunt from. I thought they were so cool. I thought they were cool little tree houses. Your story sounds a lot like the very last time I ever took off by myself in the woods without another family member with me. It was winter. I wanted to be out in the snow and explore. So I found my way up the mountain. That is what I called it, but it was in fact probably just a massive hill. And into the trees. I couldn't find the spot I was looking for and got pretty frustrated with my 8-year-old self. So I sat down by a creek to catch my breath and figure out where the freak was this place. I couldn't have been sitting more than about 3 minutes until I let out a scream. I can only describe when something let out a scream. There we go. I can only describe as blood curdling. There we go. I thought it was a fox, most likely, or maybe like a mountain lion, but it didn't really sound like that until I heard another voice crying, just weeping and wailing, and the sorrow was palpable. Got my words right. My cousins had always told me scary stories about the Appalachian, and I figured that they had followed me into the woods and were trying to scare the pants off me for shots and giggles. I called out, like, okay guys, not funny, I'm okay, I'm going home, enough. And followed my footprints in the snow as fast as I could make back to the farm. The screaming and crying did not stop, stayed constant. Every single time I heard a cry and a wail as I moved, which really made me convinced it had to be my cousins. I don't think I heard words, just crying and screaming, but it wasn't pleasant. I don't think it would be pleasant. Imagine walking in the woods by yourself and you just hear, ah! It's not what it sounds like, but this. You just want to take it a while, guess what it would sound like. No, probably like I don't want to scream right now, but probably like that crying sound when a baby falls over and it's like, wah! Like probably that. Take a wild guess. If suggestions, comment down below. But back to the story. Made my way back to the main house, my uncle's house, which was the biggest on the property and visible from the edge of the woods, and absolutely booked it. Ran full tilt to get to the kitchen door. I remember getting through the door and slamming it behind me because I was a combo of terrified and annoyed at my cousins who were playing pranks on me. The next closest cousin in age is 9 years older than me, so I was often the butt of pranks. Well, wouldn't you know, every family member was accounted for in the living room / kitchen. The older male cousin and my uncles were in the kitchen putting their snow boots and coats on to come look for me. I had been gone for several hours and they were worried. According to my mom, I was white-faced. My hands were covered in scratches through my mittens. Honey, you were not alone. What was in your gloves? You were wearing mittens, not gloves. Mittens. How could you have got scratches on your hand if you're wearing mittens? Some paranormal crap going on? What? Sorry. I guess I just have fallen or something. Oh, maybe I should continue reading it. They were so worried I had to say period. I set off from my aunt's to walk to my uncle's and had decided to take a detour and didn't tell anyone. Oops, I was 8. I really didn't think about how that might be bad. Mom said I looked like I've seen a ghost. I asked if anyone had come out to the woods to look for me. They said no, they were looking at different houses and were just about to look for you because they saw my footprints head into the woods. I almost said head into the snow. How does your footprints go into the snow? How do you walk into the snow? Explain that to me. I told them about where I went and what I heard and my uncle. Sorry about the game. My dog was barking. I had a shusher. Okay, back to this. Where was I? Oh, I told them about where I went and what I heard, and my uncle, whose property it was, said, oh, crap, I think you probably ran into the witch queue. Don't know who the witch queue is? I don't know who the witch queue is. Wait, I want to figure out who the witch queue is without losing my spot. Oh, wait, I have no internet back here. Anyways, I'm over here thinking, oh, some pretty lady lives in the woods, and I probably stumbled near her cottage. Nope. The witch was just what they called the unknown entity that roamed the woods, screaming, crying, mimicking people's voices. Oh, loaded, guys. Actually, it loaded. That's crazy. Okay. When that loads, it loads. Mimicking people's voices and just... These are books. Honey, these are books. Okay, there's no like... No kidding. It's an entity. They're not gonna have a face. Duh. Sorry. Where was I? People in good old sense of doom and dread. No one had a straight answer about possible folklore or anything like that, but all my older cousins had their own experience with similar happenings over the years. Scared the living daylights out of me, and while I've been back to the farm over the years, I can tell you I had never once set foot near the woods tree line. Even as an adult, I was grateful my family didn't think I was crazy, but they had a general rule, it's not to be in the woods alone. So I listened. To my knowledge, nothing physical ever happened with anyone and this entity. More of a prankster than anything. But oof, the Appalachian was some weird stuff. Some wild stuff, sorry. I definitely remember some strange stuff happening. During the week, we had my aunt's funeral when I was 21, and random voices or red eyes or smoke apparitions on the woods age. The woods age. Sorry, I got an accent there. But I never went to check them out. And after that one incident, I'm sorry. I should add that 100% of the family that was at the farm trip was accounted for my uncle's house getting ready to come look for me. So if anything other than something supernatural, it was not from anyone staying at the farm. Okay. So that was pretty scary. Both of those stories, actually. Okay. Another one. I forget whose story that was, but it's like the first comment when you read that. We're gonna read another one, if it will load. It's called I Had a Terrifying Encounter in the Appalachian Mountains, and I'm looking for answers. Okay, we're gonna read this one when it loads. Please. Anyways, but I think that's pretty scary. Both of them. I don't really believe the second one because they added like I saw smoke at the edge of the line, at the edge of the wood line. Okay, girl, get out. Just get out. I mean, it might be real, might be fake. 50-50. We don't know. But now I'm thinking about it, both of the stories were pretty scary. The first one. That's why I don't smoke in the woods at night. Sorry. This is not loading. Hello? Did we just forget I was here? Okay, this might be like it for the video. I know I haven't posted it forever, and I'm very sorry for that. But yeah. I hope you guys like this. I don't want to edit Yo? I don't want to edit because it's like this looks like a good one. I'm not gonna end the video. I'm just gonna try to figure out what is going on with my computer, so be right back. Alright, divas, we fixed it. Okay, let's shout out to... I can't say the name. That's the name. Shout out to them for the story. It's making me not want to believe the story. Let's get started. Let me start by saying I have lived in the Appalachian Mountains all my life and have ever experienced a lot of strange things. My family was Irish and settled in West Virginia, but I currently live in New York, NC. What's NC? North Carolina? Yeah. North California? North California. What is wrong with me? How do I not? It's NC. Okay, figure it out. Portion of these wonderful mountains. That being said, I have learned a lot about what really lurks in these dark woods, but this was like nothing I ever experienced before. It all began with my golden retriever, Ozzy. Ozzy Dream? Sorry, I can play it on guitar. Growling like I never heard before. He literally never in his whole life of existence growls. So that had me be already uncomfortable. But this growl was bone chilling. It was like he was getting ready to fight for his life. Song lyrics, sorry. Or something. I took both him and my other dog out, and around 11 p.m. he would not leave my side. I noticed that my workshop door was open, so I walked down to close and lock it up. The entry time, he is glued to my side. Ozzy also kept trying to get in between my legs, still growling, all of his hair sticking straight up like a feral animal. The very second I closed that door, all hell breaks loose in the woods. It sounded like 50 full-grown men had broke out into a full sprint, tearing through the woods. Trees were shaking, branches falling. In my life, I never been that scared. We got back into the house before I crapped my pants. I don't think I can say that on YouTube. Like to figure out what the hell was out there. When the dog and I got back outside, we were surrounded by what sounded like people mumbling. It was like, what? It was everywhere. I shined the light all over the woods and couldn't see anything, but the sound was coming from all around me. It sounded as if you got a full gym of people to baby mumble. What's baby mumble? Like, that baby mumble? You could almost make out words. That's why you could almost make out words. Sorry. That's why I don't think it was an animal. I almost immediately felt sick. Like I was having a mix between a panic attack and the full swing of the flu. Why did accent just break out? Back inside the house, it sounded like people were walking all around all night. The windows were creaking, and you could clearly hear the sound of shoes on gravel. The mumbling never stopped. Every time I got to check the house, my feet would touch the floor, and it would go dead. Dead silent. You could hear birds, crickets, frogs, or anything. Stuff my phone over. I was terrified. I didn't sleep a week, which means he didn't sleep at all for my little youngsters out there. I don't think anyone youngster would be watching this video. Anyways, the hair felt thick and evil all night. That's the only way I could explain the feeling. Imagine a soaking wet quilt being tossed over you. That's how I felt. I'd rather not have that be tossed over me. My bed is pretty comfortable, if you can see that, twin. So, I don't want that thrown on me. Thank you. I'm looking for any, sorry, he emphasized any, answers to as what this could be. Wasn't like the normal spooky stories my grandma and great uncles used to tell me. I like the ending. The comment said Sasquatch Chronicles. Stop. I used to read those. Okay, one comment says, this sounds similar to stories I hear on Sasquatch Chronicles Q. The human sounding words, the sound of walking around at night, the loud crashing through the woods, dead silence, and your dog's extreme fear all led to those stories. So what I think it was, you're schizophrenic. I'm kidding. I think that's pretty crazy. Not gonna lie, I definitely have my hair sticking up on my legs and arms. I don't know why I put it on my shoulders. But I feel like that is pretty scary because, like, you're just walking. No, he wasn't walking. Yeah, like, you just hear dead silent when you, like, put your foot on the floor. Like, that is scary. I couldn't imagine just waking up, take my dog out. They're barking insane. And then I just walk out, and then, like, I hear bone tickling noises coming from all around the direction. Loud, annoying, crazy, just crazy. That is scary. So, I would love to have an update. Maybe this was 3 years ago. But yeah, that is crazy. These stories are crazy. Let me know if you like these what's it called? Like Reddit stories. If you like me reading the Reddit stories. I would do more of this. I like this. I'm gonna have to edit this video, of course, now, but let me know, comment down below, like the video, subscribe for more if you like this. I know it's something different, I haven't done it in a while, and I'm sorry for not posting, but yeah, let me know if you'd like to see more. Love you, Pookies. Bye.